Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Trish Delish. Today we are making a ground pork and sauce pancit called Pancit Luglug. This is a great pancit because you can customize it with all the toppings that we'll add at the end. If you're ready, let's head to the kitchen and get started. Before we start sauteing the onions and garlic with the pork, I'm soaking a 600-gram packet of Pancit Luglug, which is a rice flour noodle. You need to do that because if you don't and add it directly to boiling water, it may turn into a paste. You can add in your ground pork and continue to cook that until it's fully browned. To prepare the coloring, I'm taking some achiote powder or annatto powder, and I'm going to add a little bit of oil to make kind of a slurry. And we do this so that it doesn't curdle when you add it to the pan. And so this is still kind of a paste, so we're going to add a little bit more oil. And the full recipe will be down below in the description box. All right. Gonna add some water to create the sauce. We're gonna season our pliable with some chicken base and pepper. And we can't forget our fish sauce. So we'll just add that a little at a time. It adds a lot of flavor and a lot of salt. So we'll just do that 1 spoon at a time. A little goes a long way. So it doesn't have enough seasoning in it, so we're going to add more bouillon and a little bit more of this fish sauce. Now you do want it on the salty side because you're adding it to a lot of noodles, and we're not seasoning the noodles, so this is where all the flavor will come from. So when you see the ingredients and quantities in the description box, don't get scared. I mean, this will feed a lot of people. Now that we're happy with the flavor and seasonings of our sauce, we're going to thicken it with a cornstarch slurry. Our cornstarch has thickened the sauce, so we're actually going to turn the heat off as it thickens. And you want to remember that it has to be thick because you're adding it again to those noodles. The noodles will absorb some of the sauce, and you want it to really be coated. The noodles been soaking for a couple hours now, and I want to show you how tough they start. They kind of start like plastic. Oh, and snap real easily. So you don't want that. You want to make sure that they are nice and pliable and hydrated when you boil them. So we'll drain them and get some water boiling and cook these up. All right, while your noodles are boiling, it's a perfect time to prepare your toppings and garnishes. So I have some boiled eggs, peeled and cleaned, as well as some just cooked shrimp. I did leave the tails on to make it a little bit fancier. It is deveined though. And then we've gone out to the garden and picked some fresh calamansi. So we'll wash and slice this in half for the topping. And then also have some green onions. One of the really special toppings is crushed up pork skins or pork rinds, so chicharon. We just use this as a dusting on top to make it extra flavorful. Our noodles have been cooking for about 10 minutes in boiling water, so we're going to strain it and then mix it with the sauce. All right, so we are actually going to mix it in the serving dish. Pretty brave feat not to make a mess. This makes a ton of noodles. Take our sauce. You want to mix about half of it in first. We'll see how loose or how thick it becomes. And you want to save some also for the very top of your pancit. All right, so we used about 3/4 of our sauce. We've smoothed out the top of the pancit, and then we kind of wipe the rims of the plate. We'll use just a tiny bit more to spread on the top, just for kind of topping. You can save the rest for making more pancit, or if anybody likes their pancit a little more wet, that's okay too. So they can kind of add their own later if you put it in a little side dish. This part doesn't really matter what order you go in, but I'll start with the, I guess, pork rind powder, you could say, ground up chicharron. And you don't want to put too much. This does add a lot of salt flavor to your dish as well. And remember, you've already used a lot of salt in the seasoning. But really, you can put as much or as little as you want. And you can even let your guests put some on it if you like. We'll add some green onions. I'm a fan, but I think there's, a lot of people who don't prefer green onions, so I kind of go easy on these. We'll add our shrimp. I think these are a good luxury to add. These are the large shrimp. I will make it pretty by making them all the same direction. And I have my egg slicer here. I think I'll do wedges today, but of course you can do any style that you like. You can add these little calamansi halves to the dish, but I think we've decorated it quite enough, so we'll just leave these to the side. I did forget one really special topping to use. It's our golden garlic oil. So I'll just give that a real quick mix and just add it. I love this garlic flavor. I think we use it almost in every dish. Right, I'm excited to try it. So I'll get my huge serving spoon because I want a little bit of everything there. And we'll take a cut out of there. Ooh, big spoon. I think that's a good serving, but why not get a little bit more? We'll go ahead and squeeze some of our calamansi on there. Give it another try. Oopsies. Even better. If you like this recipe, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like button below, and subscribe to my channel. You can share it with your family and friends. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.